Hey everyone, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and thank you to all you guys for those warm comments on the last vlog, Vlog 100. We are now at Vlog 101, and we are going to be jumping into my screen and going through the entire process of what it takes to put together a YouTube ads campaign. Now, the first step is obviously choosing the type of campaign that you're going to be running. In this case, we are doing video ads. So I'm going to go ahead and click on video ads. I don't really like choosing a campaign goal. I like having all of the options available to me. So I'm going to go ahead and create a campaign without a campaign goal. So now we'll go through this. I'm going to switch over to slides really quick. We already did that. And briefly explain the structure. And so let's go ahead and make this full screen. Okay, there we go. Much better view. So when it comes to promoting organic YouTube videos, and when it comes to advertising, I'll back up one more step. When it comes to advertising, I like thinking of it in two tiers of testing. You're either testing your messaging or you're testing your targeting. In this particular instance, because we're promoting content videos, the messaging is pretty locked in. It's not like you're going to create three different types of content videos that are going after the exact same keyword when you're just starting with these campaigns. So really what you're doing is you have the video and you're trying to figure out how do you connect the video to the cheapest audience of views. And so you can see here at the top, the campaign, what I normally do is just have one video per campaign and then one video per ad group. So one campaign is for one organic content YouTube video. So on the campaign level, pretty much what I typically test once I know the targeting and the audiences, I'll get into one caveat here, is the country or the networks. So we'll go through that. And then on the ad group level is where we test the keywords, we test the channels that we're targeting, and then we test the audiences. And because you're just trying to figure out what's the cheapest views to drive traffic to boost the ranking and boost the overall value that YouTube places on your video via watch time. Obviously, if your watch time is terrible after running a couple of ads, then go ahead and just stop paying to promote the video, because it doesn't matter how many views you drive to it. YouTube is going to see people don't want to watch that video, and that has happened to me. So this is something that you drive initial traffic to it. You look at your watch time statistics, you look at how much it costs to drive traffic to that video, and then you can decide whether or not it makes sense to continue to pay to drive traffic to it. So the other thing you can do is you can apply this campaign to videos that have worked well in the past. So let's say you go through your analytics, you find a video that has been bringing you a lot of views or a lot of subscribers, then go ahead and use the process that you're about to learn to set up a video campaign to drive more traffic to it, because you know that more traffic to that video equals more views and more subscribers. Of course, like what I'm doing is when I'm just posting a video, this is kind of what I'm doing to get initial traction, to initially raise my video's hand and say, hey, I'm worth watching. And then I can see the watch time statistics extremely quickly and know in the future whether or not it's worth promoting the video. And so that's kind of why you see that there's only one video per ad group in here. And so that kind of does it for the structure. The Aspire notebook will eventually have all of these notes in much more detailed than the rambling that I just went through. So now we're going to go ahead and start Camtasia over, because there are weird lines all over the place. That's much better. And I'll walk you through the process that I go through setting up the campaign. So obviously you give the campaign a name. I'm not going to waste time typing all these things in. I'm going to jump back and forth between this basic form and one that's already done. So really just get the information. And then budget, of course, you can do it for as low as $250 a day. I was able to get a decent amount of views at $250 a day. I haven't gone under that, but you can definitely test it. Delivery method, I tried accelerated, and that actually made the cost per view worse. I think it increased, there we go, made the cost per view higher. And so definitely especially if you're targeting more than just channels, you can do standard delivery and it's still going to blow through your budget. You don't really need to do accelerated. Start dates, if I've already posted the video, then I'll go ahead and have the start date immediate. If I haven't posted the video yet, then, or if the video is scheduled or it's like unlisted or private because I'm going to make it public later in the week, then I'll go ahead and just set up the start date for the day that it's going to, go live. End date, I normally just leave alone, although I have been bit in the past spending more money than I wanted to because I didn't place an end date or time. Now, let's go ahead and go into networks. So networks is something interesting. And again, some of this information might be a little repetitive if you've been watching every single vlog. And I actually take video partners off because I did not see a material difference in having video partners on versus off. And so I'd rather just pay the same amount for someone who's actually on YouTube versus someone who might be somewhere else in the display network. And there's a lot more transparency when it's just on YouTube, especially when you go through the structure that I'm about to show you here. So languages, I've been leaving alone and then just playing with the locations. I'd rather play with the location versus the language. I think Google and YouTube do a much better job of knowing where someone is versus the language that they speak. And we will come back to locations in a second here. Bidding strategy, I just leave it alone at maximum cost per view. And the lowest I've gone so far is 5 cents. Now, this was something very interesting. When I set the cost per view at 10 cents, my average cost per view was 6 cents. When I set my cost per view down to 5 cents, pretty much leaving everything else, all the other targeting alone, all of a sudden my cost went from 6 cents a view down to 3 to 4 cents a view. And the I'm blanking. View rates, that's what I was trying to think of. And the view rates, the engagement, the earned views, the earned subscribers, the amount of video watched was the same at paying 6 cents versus 3 or 4 cents. And so that's what I recommend. You can start as low as 5 cents. I haven't experimented with anything below that, but you can definitely bet that I will be doing that in the future. So we can go ahead and go into additional settings. I left devices alone. I'll update you guys later on how that does. The ad schedule I left alone. Where's the frequency? So frequency. One of the things I did set is I set frequency to essentially make sure that someone only sees the video once and they only see this ad 12 times in a week. So I don't want someone seeing it more than 2 times per day. And that's simply because I just want views as quickly as possible. So if someone sees an ad twice and doesn't click, I just want to show it to someone else who's more likely to click. And also, I don't want to pay for someone to watch it more than once because this is an organic video. So that's what I would recommend with frequency capping. Content exclusions. This could be a whole nother rant. Long story short, I just leave it alone. I don't touch it. I don't care. As long as someone's going to find value in my content, I don't care what video I'm showing up for next to, as long as I'm serving the video to the right person. And here we go. Ad schedule. This is another place where you can get really granular. I'll talk about that in a second. And then when you're setting up your campaign, go ahead and skip ad group and ad creations because you just really want to focus on the settings. So I'm going to go over to a campaign that I've already set up. So you can see here the settings, and I want to go to locations because this is something that's definitely going to be a rant. I'll do my best not to spend 10 minutes on this. But as you can see here, I'm targeting more than just US and let's see, what are the countries? I target US, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and I think that's probably it. But one of the other things I do too is you can see here, I target specific major cities in the United States and I target every single state. So if we go here, come on, click and drag, you'll see here on this map that's really hard to see. I'll zoom in real quick for you. Here we go. On this map here, you can see that every single state is outlined as well as a bunch of little dots shows all the different cities that I'm targeting. And the reason I do this is because I do this with every single campaign. I'm going to show you later how you only have to enter this group once. Eventually in this Aspire notebook, I'll have an Excel sheet of all these so you can just drop them in really quickly and not have to do all the research or type them out. But the reason I do this is because if you don't specify a city or if you don't specify a state or a province or whatever it's called in your country, you won't get the data. You see here, United Kingdom, it just tells me total, right? I don't know a breakdown of cities. I don't know a breakdown of, different provinces or states. I forget what they're called in the United Kingdom. But if I went through the same process I had gone through with the United States, then I would know how the views were different in different parts of the UK. Right now, I just know UK, it's all that. Like Canada, if I entered in all the provinces, I would have much better data on which provinces are performing versus which provinces have people who apparently could care less about my content. And so this is just one of those things where you can get as detailed or quick as possible. Obviously, I drew the line of being way too geeky at adding the different provinces and states outside of the United States, but definitely at least in your own home country, I would suggest targeting your major cities and, targeting your different counties, states, or provinces. And so something that is also really nice about this, I know I'm spending a lot of time, but this is so important, is that as long as you have the same targeting across all your campaigns, guess what? 6 months or a year later, you can go up here to create a custom report, and you can aggregate all of your campaigns based upon your city targeting. So you can see here, there are a lot of cities, there are a couple hundred impressions. This data doesn't mean anything to me, but imagine how these impressions and these numbers are going to compound over time. Every video I make, I post, and as I go through and make these campaigns over and over and over again, in 6 months to a year, I can come back, I can use that reporting feature, and I can see exactly how Los Angeles does, or I can see exactly how New Jersey does. So for example, here, Los Angeles, like let's say after 7 or 10 content videos I post, I go and do the aggregate data, and I see, you know what? The cost is higher. It's 5 cents. But the view rate is better than most cities. So that would tell me that, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to include Los Angeles when you're just trying to get really cheap views. But it would be a good idea to target Los Angeles when you're trying to get engagement or you're trying to get someone to take action, like on a video that's driving traffic off of YouTube. That's a pretty simple explanation, but that's just why my kind of justification for going through this process and having all of these individual cities, states, provinces, counties segmented out in your settings. Now, you can do the exact same thing for ad schedule. So the same kind of thing applies. If you don't you can split a day up into 6 time frames. I just do it, 4 hours at a time. You can choose whatever time frame you want. But if you don't go through and create all these different time frames, you're just going to get data on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. And so again, this is data that's not really going to be all that helpful. You can see there's a lot of zeros here and there's a big cluster, right? I wouldn't know Tuesday between 12 and 4 is when I'm getting a bunch of the impressions. Now, obviously, I only ran this for a day, so they're kind of all clumped in it together here. But again, you can aggregate the data and you'll get much better insights over the long run. So I believe that does it for the campaign settings. So now what I want to do is run through the actual ad groups. So let's go ahead, leave the full screen here. So we just covered this guy up top. That's step number 1. And step number 2 is the ad groups. So with the particular ad groups, what I've done, let's go to the ad group section here. Okay, so you can kind of see how we segment all of this out, right? So you have those campaign settings you want to pretty much leave standard across the board. And that way, that your base essentially, you want to only have very specific elements in your campaigns being changed. That way you can compare one campaign to another, even though the videos are different. But we probably will get to that later. So thank you so much for sticking with me. I know this is a really long one and it's not all that structured, but I just want to get all of the information out. I think this is like $600 or $700 worth of ad testing dollars that hopefully when you spend your $600 or $700 or $100, you get much better results because you can just springboard off of what I'm showing you here. And I'm going to talk about what has worked for me. So what has worked really well for me is affinity and in-market audiences. You can also target channels, and what I would recommend doing is having you need one ad group per channel, right? So let's go back to, no, that's the wrong one. Oh, switching between Windows and Mac is so much fun. Okay, so each ad group should only be one channel. So this ad group would be channel 1, this ad group would be channel 2, this ad group would be channel 3, and that is simply because if you have multiple channels in one ad group, when you go into your placements and you try and see which channel performed the best, YouTube will actually lump a lot of the views on youtube.com together. So you'll see youtube.com and then just a bunch of views and you won't know which channel it was. So that's why it's really important when you're doing channels to have them separately here. You don't have to do that for affinity and in-market audiences like we're going through right now, but I just like being, discard. I just like being really granular and having the data really easy to read. So that covers channel. Ad groups, go ahead and drop a question below. You can pause the video and just say, hey, I'm at this time and it makes no sense. I will reply to you because I really do want this to be helpful, as long and jumbled as this is. So with the ad group targeting, man, I'm going all over the place. Okay, so with the ad group targeting for in-market and affinity, essentially you choose one affinity market or you choose one in-market audience. And these are audiences that are already inside of Google. They've already set these up for you. And you go ahead and you choose one of them. You'll go through the list. I'll show you the list in a second. But this is just, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7. So I have like 7 lists in here, right? And so these are all audiences that YouTube has created for advertisers like us to choose to use. And so we can essentially target these guys and see which audience gives you the best results. So you can see here, these are real view rates for an actual video. And what you want to do is compare you'll look at the view rate, you'll look at how much it costs you, and then you'll look at your earned views and how many subscribers. Now, I have yet to find a really good way with an organic video to get cheap subscribers, or to get people to actually take action and hit subscribe. $23 for five new subscribers is way too expensive. So, but for the views, that's pretty good. I mean, 3 cents a view. And then of course, I'd also recommend looking at how long people watched your video. And so that kind of does it for the analysis. But when you're setting up the ad group, I apologize, that was jumbled. I should have just kept going. You're going to wait to give your ad group a name, and you'll come down here to demographics, and then we have audiences. Demographics, I think the only thing that I do is I uncheck that box, and then, yep, don't really care about the rest. This just came out of testing, right? This just came out of testing. I realized that age group was really expensive to target. And then we can go into audiences. So we have affinity, and then we have intent, life events. So I'm going to click on affinity here just to show you how many options you have. So you want to go through this list, and you want to, and these are pretty self-explanatory in terms of the names, and just make a note of every single audience in here that you think is relevant. So like, let's say News Junkies is relevant to me. I'll click that, but you only want to have one of these per ad group. So if I go into technology and I say, mobile enthusiasts might be a good one. I don't want both of these in the same ad group. So what I do is I would literally just write on a notepad or Evernote someplace that mobile enthusiasts would be a good one. Or actually, a quick hack, what you can do is you can go through and click all of the ones you think are applicable when you're making your first ad group, and then just take a screenshot of this list, and then you can go back through and make your ad group for each one of these. So I'm going to exit all of these out until I only have the one that I want to target for this one. So mobile enthusiasts. So I'd come back here for the name. I'd do the video name. I think this is M38. Is it M38? Maybe it's M42. It's M38 or something, and then mobile in. And that just tells me what it is. Affinity. It'd help you spell affinity right. So whatever your naming convention is, just kind of stick to it. Maximum would be 0.05. And I don't do a popular bid adjustment for that. And then the targeting I would leave alone. So if you want to do specific placements is where you would choose your YouTube channels. And doing YouTube videos, I found to be really, really low in terms of results. So pretty much just skip that when you're just getting started. So if I were to do a YouTube channel, I would type in a YouTube, like let's say this is marketing, right? Let's see what they give me. Let's see what they give me for marketing. I'm just curious. Yeah, Billie Jean. Yeah, so I'm glad it did this. It was perfect. So most of the time when you do this, you're going to want to do your channel research outside of this interface. So essentially what you would do is you'd go over to YouTube, you type in a core keyword like marketing for YouTube or something like that. You do this in YouTube search, and then you'd find the larger channels in your niche, and you'd come in here and drop in their channel URLs. But again, that would be, you'd either have a channel that you're targeting, or you'd either have an affinity or in-market audience. And in-market audiences are right here. So you can go through these as well. And you just test and you test and you test. And then you come down here, you'd go ahead and create your video ad, just paste in your URL. I'm gonna go ahead and click cancel, because creating the video ad part is pretty self-explanatory. And I'll go through that in the AdWords Editor. And so you can see here, I went through that process for each one of these, right? Now, you may be wondering, okay, that's kind of great, Jason. You've kind of like halfway explained what's going on in your head. I don't want to do this every single time I post a new video. And to that, I would say, yeah, I wouldn't either. So I want to introduce you to AdWords Editor. And so this is a free application that you can download. You just go to Google and type in AdWords Editor. You can download this for free, and this is what it looks like. So this is the exact same campaign that we were looking at. I'm going to go up to ad groups here. So you can see here are all of my ad groups, and you can see this is the campaign that I was just showing you inside of AdWords, the live AdWords Editor. And what's nice about this is you can actually make a template. So let's say you've gone through all this process, you've gone through the process, you did everything, you did all those campaign settings, you set up all of those, you set up every single time block throughout the day, you added all those different cities. I actually have a template at the bottom here. I have a template where I have all of these ad groups set up, and I also have the channel targeting as well, which is why I'm not clicking on it. But inside of this, like let's say you ran this campaign, you have a new video, all you have to do is copy and paste. Copy, and I need to go click on campaigns, and then I can paste, and I can come in here. So I'd copy and paste it because I already set it up. All the targeting is already there. And so all I need to do is rename the campaign. Like let's say this is going to be let's just say vlog 101 example. So go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and change the name. You can edit a lot of the same things you can edit in the online editor here. But the nice thing is you've already set up the campaign, right? You already know the ad rotation, you know the delivery method, you know what networks, you know the targeting. So you're good to go. You don't really have to change anything. And so all you need to do is swap out the ads for the new ad that you have. So what you do is you'd come in here, you'd actually keep selecting campaign, you'd scroll down to TrueView Discovery Ads, and I'm gonna go ahead and just delete all of them except for this one. And so all you need to do is, like, let's say that we're doing this, we're gonna be promoting the video you're watching right now. So we would type in the video ID, and if you're not quite sure where to get that, I'm gonna click on this, and in the video settings, this string of text right here at the end after the slash is the actual video code. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll copy that video code, and I will go back to the AdWords editor and I will drop it in. Obviously it's gonna be the same for this example. And then I'd go ahead, I'd give the ad a new name. So let's just say vlog 101 test, and then UT tutorial, just so I know. And then make sure the landing page is the video's watch page, right? And so you've made the new ad, and all you have to do is, you're in responsive ads, you'll go up here, you'll copy it, and then you'll go to the next campaign or the next ad group and you'll click paste. And then we'll just paste all the ads because we're promoting the same video. The only thing we're doing is changing the targeting. And now, pretty much in a snap, you've completely duplicated the campaign. You've completely duplicated the campaign settings that you already went through and set up. And you've completely duplicated all of your audience testing. And what's nice is, see, we duplicated this campaign from, I forget which one, but let's say the last time you ran the campaign, a campaign for an organic video, you saw that, let's say web design people, I got really poor results with that. So all you have to do is delete and now you're not targeting it anymore. And that's pretty much all there is to AdWords Editor. There are plenty of Google support videos on how to use this, but this is just a really, really powerful tool to quickly promote a lot of videos. And I think, as YouTube becomes more and more competitive, spending, $5 or $10 on to boost a video to kind of get it out of the YouTube black hole is a really, really smart move. So not too bad, right? That was a pretty short video, said facetiously after posting the longest vlog ever to this channel. So I sincerely hope you got a lot of value out of this. This type of content was the type of vlog content that I have always wanted to see from larger advertisers and larger entrepreneurs and creators, in our space of digital marketing and building online businesses. But I just haven't seen this level of transparency or this level of detail, even in some of the courses that I've purchased. And so that's part of why I was so excited to make this particular episode for you, because this is the exact type of content that I wish I would have seen when I first started, my digital marketing journey. And of course, I'm still going to continue to provide longer vlogs like this in the future when this channel or my business hits larger milestones where I have a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand, impressions, or I spent a couple $100 and I can really show you. I think the total here came out to 7 something. I know 600 or 700. It doesn't really matter. What matters is it's real ad dollars, it's real world results, and it should help you with whatever you're going to be doing with YouTube ads in the future. So go ahead and hit that like button, and then in the comments section, let me know that you actually made it through this video, because I know it was a really long one. There's a lot of rambling, but I just want to get everything that I've learned in here and from the actual data out into this video for you, so that you don't have to repeat the same mistakes or repeat the same tests. You can essentially just springboard off of everything that we've tested here so far. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm excited that I finally get to make content like this and bring actionable ad results to you guys. And as always, keep building the business you love. Take care.